If justice system has to prevent crime, it has to exceed the rate of crime. At what rate crime is happening? Consider how long does it take to commit a murder or commit a rape? Half an hour, 1 hour, 1 day, include planning, plotting, everything. 1 month maximum. But to pass a judgment on that, if it takes 20 years, there is a big empirical mismatch. And at this rate, justice will not serve as a deterrent. If crime is not happening, it is just because criminals have limited capacity. They have limited appetite for committing crime. So we are at their mercy. I remember one conversation with a policeman. I happened to have asked him, which day do you take weekly off? So he asked me, do criminals have a weekly off? If crime doesn't have a weekly off, how can I have weekly off? I like that argument immensely. Do railways shut down on Sundays? Does police stop functioning on holidays? If it is not there, why it is here? Why we have so many holidays, restricted working hours? Now all these things should go. If you have to catch up with the objective, you have to align the way of working, the modus operandi according to the objective. The end objective is to control crime. So you have to start working like a criminal. There has to be an element of time. Time has to be ticking. You have to deliver it fast. Delivering it fast, okay. Maybe there will be some instances where you can say that some wrong decisions can happen. But those will be statistically negligible. At a holistic level, you would have achieved your objective. Now here we say that, okay, if a criminal escapes, it is okay, but wrong person should not be punished at any cost. But what is that any cost? At any cost is 20 years of delay. Does it look logical?
Hello friends, I am Avinash Khare, your host, and I welcome you to this series, Technocrat Talks. In this series, we will be dwelling on our blind spots, which have shackled our thinking and which have preconditioned our perceptions into a certain template. We have been suffering because of that. This we are doing through application of engineering sense and cold logic. Welcome to this analytical discussion. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. Please press the bell icon to get the notifications. If you like the talk, please like it and share it with your friends, so that we increase the community of like-minded, curious minds to take the movement forward. Without much ado, let us start today's talk.
So friends, in today's talk, we shall be covering application of engineering sense into a totally different sphere of life. We are talking about the justice system. Now one would ask, how can we apply something like engineering sense into a totally unrelated domain, that's justice system? I believe application of engineering sense will make a very big difference in the end outcome and in the expectancy aspects of the justice system. So let's go ahead with the talk.
How has the justice system evolved historically? How do you think historical evolution of the justice system has contributed to its current state of inefficiency and lack of responsiveness?
Historically, if you see, the justice was being dispensed by the kings. The rulers used to personally do justice. They had taken it upon themselves. In darbars and all, they used to do justice, so-called. But because they were kings, they had no discipline could be enforced on the kings. So they had their working hours, they had their modus operandi, whatever way, and nobody could question whatever verdict they gave. Okay, so the judgment was never questioned. It was never open to evaluation. It was never open to criticism. Okay, and it was taken for granted that yes, whatever gets decided has to be accepted. There is no choice. Okay, now the justice system has descended from there. Now once of course the Britishers came, it became they brought in a jury system, for example, to have something like a collective wisdom, to have little bit more of objectivity. So penal code started, a written penal code. So we had rules, regulations, norms, penal code, and every discussion, everything was in light with those, so as to have some uniformity, some objectivity. Okay, but it became so much of procedural thing, written down, documented thing. that everything got lost into those clauses and sub-clauses and became extremely bureaucratic and sluggish. Now, one requirement of justice system is that it should be responsive, should be swift, should be fast. Like probably in movies we see a motorcycle chasing hoodlums in those gullies and lanes and by lanes. The justice system has to be able to do something like that. But the way it has evolved, it has become like a road roller. So it will go on chugging its own path, and anybody who's clever and quick can easily escape. It becomes extremely predictable, the kind of concourse it takes. Yeah. So these are some of the limitations with which we have started. Now, of course, jury system has gone, but then other aspects of, let us say, written penal code and all those things are still there. That rigidity is still there, and we are carrying it so far. And objectively, nobody has engineered the justice system. It has just fallen into place just by evolution. The way it is, it has evolved like that. It has not been designed. So I am sure there is a scope for introducing the element of design. It's time that we design the system to make it more objective, more effective, more accountable, more performance oriented, like we do for all engineering systems.
It is interesting that you mentioned that it needs engineering design. But what do you see the common thread between between these two entirely unrelated fields of engineering and the justice system?
Yeah, one question you could add to that is why as engineer you're commenting on something that you don't know. That is the legal side and law. You don't know. Yes, I don't know. And another admission I must make is that if I knew it, probably I would not be talking what I am talking today. Because I am from a different domain, I am able to see things in a different view. The people who grow up in domain, they get conditioned by the walls of that domain. Their thinking gets channelized according to those domains. Now, if we want some breakthrough improvement, it can only happen like this. That there is some external view to the whole context, to the objectivity, to the performance norms. Okay, and then like any system, I am sure if you treat any system as a black box, so there is an input, there is an output, and there is a transfer function, whatever happens. And based on that input and output ratio, you decide things like efficiency and effectiveness and all those things. Right? In concept, you can apply these engineering this concept to any domain. It's a methodology. It's a thought process. So with this thought process, you can't lose on objectivity and performance. Those become paramount importance. So that's why we are talking what we are talking today. There is, of course, no intent to cast aspersion on any community, legal community or respected judiciary. There is no such intent. We are just saying that how an engineering intent could have been applied to designing the justice system and what difference it would have made and what it could still make, of course.
In your view, what is the most significant issue with the current justice system and how does it impact the efficiency of delivering justice?
Now, before we talk about this aspect, we have to talk about what is the objective of justice system. What is the aim of justice system? Now, obviously, one has to state what is the aim of justice system. The aim of justice system is to deliver justice. Okay. Now, delivering justice is fine. The question comes, if you apply engineering sense, at what cost? At what cycle time? What should be the time taken? Okay. Right now, yes, they are delivering justice. They believe and we also believe. But it is justice at any cost with any time. Now, this is not a concept which is acceptable to engineering common sense. Any system has to have certain time frame, okay, certain efficiency and effectiveness, and it has to serve the objective. Now, whether the objective is getting served or not, to what extent, there is no matrix. I have not seen any performance norms for justice system. Do we ever evaluate? Do we ever audit? Do we ever review? Do we ever performance measure of what was the target versus what is the actual achievement? Like we do in all other spheres of life. Why this particular field should be left alone? Even for, say, political leadership, there is performance evaluation. Even government performance, we are evaluating, right? We do it once in 5 years, all right, but then as voters, we do some kind of performance evaluation. And government itself presents their achievements and whatever, annual reports every time to time. Okay. But we don't see any such thing happening in justice system. So whatever is happening is just happening. It is happening at its own pace. Whether it is serving the purpose or otherwise is left to imagination. Now, if we apply engineering sense, it would make things commensurate with all other, much more efficient and much more effective, much more predictable and friendlier systems that we have elsewhere. It's time that there is some lateral learning, and this particular area, which is somehow isolated, also catches up with all other things that are happening in industry and business. Things have to be business-like. To that extent, even justice delivery has to be business-like. It can't be taking its own sweet time, its own cost in terms of agony, cost in terms of delay, because we all say justice delayed is justice denied. So inordinate delay means fails to serve the purpose. So effectiveness is not there. Even if justice is there, the effectiveness is gone. And what is the objective of justice system? It is to prevent crime. It is to improve compliance. Now, if justice system has to prevent crime, it has to exceed the rate of crime. So, at what rate crime is happening? Consider, how long does it take to commit a murder or commit a rape? Half an hour, 1 hour, 1 day, include planning, plotting, everything. 1 month maximum. But to pass a judgment on that, if it takes 20 years, there is a big empirical mismatch. And at this rate, I am afraid that justice will not serve as a deterrent. If crime is not happening, it is just because criminals have limited capacity. They have limited appetite for committing crime. So we are at their mercy. It's not that our system is threatening them or it's forcing them to behave themselves. Which is the end objective? Ultimate objective is that it has to control. To control crime, it has to control, it has to bring in compliance, increasing compliance. But if it continues to work at this pace, which is disproportionately slower than rate of crime and rate of non-compliance, it will never be able to control. So in engineering, they say that control response has to be much faster than the response which is causing the system to go haywire. Same concept I am applying here. Notionally. So, criminals are making system go haywire and our system is too sluggish to be able to control it. That is the main concern.
What, according to you, should be the basis of the justice system?
Basis of justice system is, of course, one is the written down penal code, the laws passed by parliamentarians. That is one. That is the written down basis on which we say that we do justice. It is based on that. However, However written, bulky written document that may be, constitution may be, or IPL may be, Indian penal code may be. The fact of life is that different courts, the judgment gets reversed also. In spite of such a voluminous written down document, there is still a lot of subjectivity. And if everything is so written down, so well documented, outcome should come much faster. Why it should take so long? And nowadays, with advent of IT system, it is very easy. One doesn't have to go through those voluminous books and pass judgments and all to find precedents. You can have a database. Just type the category of crime, etc., and it should automatically give you the precedents like that. In fact, you can have a computer-based system to automatically dispense justice also. Why do you need human intervention? If you just type in the clauses against which the crime has been booked, okay. You submit the evidence, you can make it computerized like any other system. So, if that is possible on one hand, why here we are living with so much of subjectivity, so much of delay, so much of sluggishness, so much of inertia? It's the question.
What role do performance measures play in improving the functioning of the justice system, and what specific measures do you suggest should be implemented?
Presently, we don't see any performance measure implemented for justice system. We never evaluate the performance of any judge or any lawyer or anybody for that matter. Now, if the objective is to do justice, if the objective performance measure is rate of delivering justice, like in engineering terms we say that rate of production, the rate at which you make turnover. Yeah. So, if the objective is to make turnover, at what rate you are making turnover, how much turnover you are making. So, you apply the same concept. How much justice did you deliver? How many cases did you resolve? Do we ever measure performance in those terms? That how many cases were closed, concluded? Based on that, do we ever have a performance matrix for justice system? Now, if somebody has delayed a justice, do we ever question that delay? Do we ever penalize the person who has caused that delay? Do we ever hold it against the lawyer who keeps on delaying the judgment for some or the other pretext? We never do that. And if it is so objective, if it is a written down document based, the outcome should be repeatable. Yet, suppose a lower court has decided something and higher court has reversed the decision. Do we question the lower court, why did they decide that one? We never do that also. So, if your judgment is found wrong by the higher court, you are not penalized, you are not questioned for that as well. So, I see that there is no questioning of any performance as of now. But it is there in all other fields of life. It is there in business, it is there in engineering, it is there in medical. It's there in all walks of life excepting this one. For police, we are holding them accountable for crime rate. And I remember one conversation with a policeman. I happened to have asked him, do you have a weekly off day? Which day do you take weekly off? So he asked me, do criminals have a weekly off? If crime doesn't have a weekly off, how can I have weekly off? I like that argument immensely. Does electricity shut down on Sundays? Do railways shut down on Sundays? Does police stop functioning on holidays? Do they have restricted working hours? If it is not there, why it is here? Why we have so many holidays, restricted working hours? Now all these things should go. If you have to catch up with the objective, you have to align the way of working, the modus operandi according to the objective. The end objective is to control crime. So you have to start working like a criminal. Right? Only then you are able to control him. So there is a lot of adaptation which is due to come. So I am sure with this kind of brainstorming, there would be some thought-provoking statements which would come, and somebody will think something which should be on positive side, of course. We hope.
What do you see as shortcomings in our justice system?
Capacity shortfall is cited as one of the reasons of these delays. That number of courts, number of judges is inadequate. Yes, that may be true. That may be equally true. But then other things are that the way we work, even when we work, it is not focused on any performance. It is not measured. It's not focused to be responsive. Okay. And we are saying that, okay, we will deliver justice at any cost. But anything done at any cost is not business-like. There has to be commensurate cost. There has to be commensurate time. There has to be a time. It cannot be timeless. Now, this is what I see as a shortcoming. In fact, many lawyers get paid a lot just to delay the outcome. And that's their core competence. How to delay, how to scuttle the thing. But they are not being penalized, they are not being questioned by anybody. That's a problem. Just because they are in that field doesn't mean that they can forego all the ethics. Ethics have still to be enforced. They can still be reviewed, they can still be audited. They should be. Like in any other field, performance gets audited. Any shortcuts taken, any non-compliances are also questioned. But here we don't question anything, we just leave it. So, according to me, if that is done, it will change things greatly.
In your opinion, how can the legal process be streamlined to reduce delays and improve the overall efficiency of the system?
As I said, use of IT system is one big tool which can be done. Now you can just have certain drop downs, like a drop down menu. What was the crime, in what category it fell, okay. So it automatically shows you what are the clauses applicable, okay. Then you type in some more detail, it gives you some more detail. Then you can look at precedences, previous history, similar crimes, what punishments have been given. So then everything the system will throw at you. So it reduces, number one, lot of subjectivity, lot of arguments, lot of perception building, lot of misrepresentations. Once you are able to arrive at those keywords, like in internet search we use, you put them, the system can in a very friendly manner guide you to the justice. So where is the room for delay? Where is the room for unending dates and arguments and counter arguments? And we have to change some norms also, like we say having witnesses is a very strong thing. But we don't believe a recorded video, we don't believe a photograph because it can be forged, it can be engineered. But we believe that the witness is always honest, which is unbelievable actually. They can always be, they are known to become hostile, they are known to change their statements. Yet we give more weightage to the spoken word of some witness. And nowadays it is very easy to record the thing. Everybody is carrying on mobile phone. In fact, I am told in Europe, in UK, the cops carry a camera. Whenever they are talking to anybody, that camera is on it is being recorded. Cannot be challenged. So it keeps a control on the person who is dealing with the cop as well as the cop himself. Both of them have to behave because they know it is being recorded. Right? And that recording is recognized. We say you have surveillance camera recording, those videos are recognized. But of course, videos made by mobile phone or uploaded on internet, for obvious reasons, those are not recognized because photoshopping can be done, lot of things can be done. It is open to lot of manipulation. But yeah, the more we use these tools, we should be able to arrive at justice much faster.
What can the justice system learn from the engineering world or other disciplines?
Same thing, having an objective which is paramount. Objective must be met first. And the cost of meeting the objective, the time of meeting the objective. These 2-3 things, if they adopt, it will make a lot of difference. It will make a world of difference in the approach. Somebody has to question somebody by why did you take so long to decide this? What was so difficult? If a crime could be committed in 1 hour, why did it take 20 years to decide that? What is that you were doing for 20 long years? What was the justification for delaying it for so long? There has to be an element of time. Time has to be ticking. You have to deliver it fast. And delivering it fast, okay, maybe there will be some instances where you can say that some wrong decisions can happen. But those will be statistically negligible. But at a holistic level, you would have achieved your objective. You would have achieved your objective. Like for instance, they say in Gulf countries, if there is a crime committed, the punishment happens within a week, within 4 days, or even next day. And that controls the rate of crime. That is an active deterrent. Maybe there are some cases where wrongfully somebody may be getting punished. But I am sure that those cases will be minuscule in terms of statistics. It cannot be a very big confusion matrix where you have wrong person getting punished. Now here we say that, okay, if a criminal escapes it is okay, but wrong person should not be punished at any cost. But what is that any cost? At any cost is 20 years of delay. Is it acceptable? Is it logical? Does it look logical? So we have to change our paradigm. The paradigm is, the main objective is to control crime, so that it must do. Other things you see subsequently.
Can you share examples of instances where applying engineering sense has led to significant improvements in non-engineering fields?
I can give you an example, somewhat related to justice system only. That formerly we used to have the tradition of stamp papers and revenue stamps being put. For every cash receipt you have to put a revenue stamp. Now the value of that revenue stamp was negligible, it was just 1 rupee. But it used to add lot of delay, lot of inconvenience, because the availability is a problem, having it at the right time is a problem. And in this age of e-transactions, it was simply not acceptable just to pay 1 rupee tax if I have to spend 2 days, go and buy a revenue stamp, fix it. So thankfully, yes, nowadays you have e-stamp papers, you have e-revenue collection, you don't have to do physical this thing, though in some cases it is still being done, but then largely people have moved away from that concept. That's what I would say is the implication of applying engineering sense. Another example I give is Formerly, we remember that we had to take half-day leave for paying electricity bill. We had to stand in long queue for railway reservation, for bookings, for paying tax, for paying electricity bill, water bill. Now, thankfully, since the engineering sense has percolated in these areas, at least payments and receipts have become very convenient. With an OTP, you are able to pay through cell phone. So things have become much faster, much more responsive, much more efficient. I'm sure like that would happen here also and should happen here also.
What role can technology and data-driven decision-making play in enhancing the efficiency of the justice system?
See, if there is a solid data, basically, let us say we are evolving based on past empirical data. The entire justice system is hinged around, one is of course the IPC, other is the previous judgments history. So we have a empirical database from where we are able to pull out the relevant portions, and based on that we decide what should be done in the given case for now, right? Now if this thing could get automated, which it could be very easily, it will be data based, will be much more objective, will have less scope for subjectivity, less variance of interpretation, okay, and will fit. You just type what has happened and the software will fit it into some category. That's it. If you want to challenge it, you can still challenge it, but then the scope will be limited, because it's very difficult to fight with an online empirical data based statement. If somebody is manually making out of memory, probably yes, somebody can twist it, challenge it. But if it is coming from horse's mouth, from computer's mouth, very difficult to challenge. So to that extent, it reduces the variance. Things will be much more repeatable. Plus you have record that when a lower court decided something, based on what it decided that, so there cannot be a very different perception at higher court. Things cannot change diametrically. Since it is left to subjectivity, that is what happens. So data driven thing will be much more repeatable, much more predictable, much more reliable and efficient.
Who do you think the current justice system is benefiting?
I'm sorry to say that, but then it seems, based on facts and figures, that current justice system is serving the purpose to give lasting employment to the legal community. But as far as the end users are concerned, people who have grievances, they are not getting benefited so much. So it is serving the purpose of serving themselves, and little beyond that, I would say, but much delayed and much denied, as you can say. And unless something happens, we will keep on hearing this phrase that justice delayed is justice denied, but then nothing will be done to correct it. To correct it, this is what is required. To apply some design sense, engineering sense, objectivity, performance, monitoring, just like in any other field we are doing, we have to do here as well. Why we should make exception?
Well, with this, we have come to the end of today's talk. Please take this movement forward. Please share it with your friends. Open Mind is an engineer's workshop, and our goal is to engineer our future. Please press the bell icon to get further notifications. Please like if you have liked the talk, and please do let us have your feedback, your ideas, your comments, your suggestions. Hope to see you in the next talk, Technocrat Talks. Till then, be happy, enjoy. See you next time. Bye-bye.